Now we're going to go over how to set up your patient mobile app hours and settings. We're also going to go through how you invite a patient to the app and all those ins and outs. The first step is to getting your office access to the app. Now during your onboarding process, you were asked, would you like the app or would you not like the app? So if you said yes, then adding the app onto your account would have happened at the beginning anyways during your onboarding process. But let's say you decide not to go with the app, but now you want to add it to your account. All you have to do is reach out to support@chirohd.com or reach out via the support widget in ChiroHD and request the app to be added to your office. Let's start with setting up your different mobile app settings. Once you have the patient app permission on your user, you're going to go to Settings, Initial Setup, Mobile App. Now, if you do not see this mobile app tab, that's because your user does not have patient app permissions. If your office already has the app added to their account, you would just need to reach out to a system admin at your office, and they can be able to add the permission onto your user. If your office doesn't have access to the app yet, again, you would need to reach out to support and we can help facilitate those steps. First, I'm going to start with my app scheduling hours. I'm going to click Add New Hours. You have to select the provider. This is the calendar provider that you would allow a patient to schedule an appointment on. Appointment types. I would select my various adjustment appointments. In regard to which appointments are eligible to schedule in the app, right now those are restricted to appointment types that have the category of adjustment or massage. So what I mean by that is I'm at my system level, appointment settings, appointment types. Appointments that have the category of adjustment, massage, or pregnancy adjustment can be scheduled in the app. Here I would select the days of the week. You do see where it says the days of the week are optional. If you leave days of the week blank, it will accommodate the hours for every day in the week. So if you leave it blank, it looks across all days of the week, or if you want to specify specific days, you would select them here. In general, when setting up your mobile app hours, we recommend that you be as specific as possible. If there are times during the day where you cannot see patients for adjustments, do not include them in your mobile app hours. Now I'm going to set a start and end time. Let's say, for an example, every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I can have patients schedule their own adjustments between 9 and 10:45. But the reason why I have it stopping at 10:45 is because maybe during the 11 o'clock hour, that's my report of findings time, and I don't see regular adjustments during that time. So I would not include the 11 o'clock hour in my mobile app setup. The next chunk of hours I would set up So let's say during those same days of the week, I can allow a patient to schedule their own appointments in the app from 9 to 10:45, but then the 11 o'clock hour on my calendar, that's when I just see my report of findings. So I'm not going to include that time in my hours. And then let's say 12 o'clock, we take lunch. So then we're available again from 1 to 4 for adjustments. So again, you just want to be as specific as possible when setting up your mobile app hours. You can see here I didn't include Tuesday. Maybe that's because Tuesday mornings we don't see patients and we train in the office, or we have other things that we do and we're open half a day on Tuesdays. So I would select Tuesday, 1 to 4. You can have different hours set up for various providers. You can have this schedule set up for multiple providers. Adding start times is optional, so you can leave this blank if you would like. But the purpose is this is, say my adjustments on my calendar go down every 10 minutes. Well, then I would do start times of 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, as those match the start times on my calendar. Say my adjustment times are every 15 minutes, then be 0, 15, 30, 45. So the start times just correlate with the start times on your calendar. When I say the start times on your calendar, this is what I'm referring to as these intervals going down the left side. So you just want to make sure your start times line up with how your calendar is formatted. And again, you can just leave these blank if you would like. If you check Use Cluster Booking, this will simply encourage time slots where you have multiple patients scheduled. So for example, if a patient is going to the app and trying to schedule for May 17th, one of the preferred times it's going to show the patient is 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. As you can see, there are multiple patients scheduled there. Now on the app, there will be a button where the patient can say see more times, and it'll open up all the other available times, but it's just trying to encourage clusters of people coming in together. It's not required, but it's an option. Allow overbooking will allow the patient to still book in time slots that are taken on your calendar. How the mobile app works is when a patient goes onto the app and selects a day, it will first look at your mobile app hours. What are you allowing? It's going to look at these settings and then take from those settings and look at your calendar in your office. If you do not have a slot available that will accommodate the appointment, then that time slot will not be available for the patient in the app. So again, it looks at what you allow in your mobile app hours, then it scoots on over to your calendar and see, do you have that time open? If that time is open, it'll be an option for the patient. If it's not, it won't. So for example, this 10 o'clock time slot would not show as an option in the app because it's completely booked up. It's even overbooked. But if I check off allow overbooking, that will then make this 10 o'clock spot available in the app. It doesn't care if you're overbooked or not in that time slot. Now, allow overbooking will still honor your mobile app hours that you have set up. It just won't filter out time slots that are completely booked up. I'm going to go ahead and save my hours. And again, you can have as many hours set up as you would like, and I encourage you to be as detailed as you can with your app hours. Two things I want to point out about when setting up your mobile app hours. Please make sure your AM and PM make sense. What I mean by that is, if I have this set to 1 p.m. and then 4 a.m., I'm making available more slots than I'd wish, because maybe even this day I'm still open until 6 p.m. I just want to stop patients from scheduling themselves at 4. But if I have it open 1 to 4 a.m., then you're risking patients being able to schedule at times you don't want them to. Now again, yes, if you don't have calendar hours open at 4 a.m., someone cannot book at 4 a.m. But like in the situation I was saying, I have this stopped at 4 p.m., but if I'm open until 6, then if I have this set up incorrectly, they could still book on your calendar later than you would like them to. So that's a common thing we see, is the AM and PM being incorrect. The other thing you cannot do when setting up your app hours is having the same start and end time. I cannot have 1 p.m. and 1 p.m. App scheduling message is just a message that will appear in the app when the patient tries to book an appointment within the dates that are set. So what I mean by that is, I'm going to have it be an all-day alert. Otherwise, you can have a start and end time. Let's say the start date, let's pick this first week in June. This could be an example of an app scheduling message where in the first week of June, maybe my office is running a little raffle, a summertime raffle, and I just want to put in a little extra effort to promote it. When a patient goes into the app and they pick a date between June 3rd to June 7th to book an appointment, they will be shown your app scheduling message. I'm going to scroll down to the cancel and reschedule rules section. Here we have 3 options in how to set up our cancel and reschedule rules. The first is the most basic. You can just have an overall default setting. This will account for all of your appointment types in the app. So the cancel and reschedule rules will account for all of them the same way. If I select can reschedule or can cancel, that is indicating that you want to allow this function. If I do not want to allow patients to cancel, I would simply uncheck or not check off that option. Then you have the option of the time and if you want it in minutes, hours, or days. So this will say that I will allow a patient to reschedule within 1 hour of the scheduled appointment time. Or they can reschedule up to 1 day prior to that appointment time. Again, you can set if you want to allow or not allow cancel and rescheduling. But this default, again, it's a blanket setting for all appointments. Our next nuanced option will, if you have any of these selected, it will trump your default options if set up. This is based on appointment category. The category this is referring to is based on your appointment type settings at the system level. So if I'm on my system dashboard, system settings, appointment settings, appointment types, this is the category it's referring to. So on every appointment, you can select the category. So I can set up my cancel and reschedule rules based on buckets of my category. So if I have all of these appointments set up under the same category, then if I set up a cancel reschedule rule for a category, it will apply to each of these appointments. So we have here, we already have defaulted adjustment and massage category. If I don't have a category and you see one on your screen, you can just delete that option. Let's say I want to set up cancel reschedule rules for my category of laser appointments. Then I would just simply use the drop down arrow to select the category, click add like I just did, and then set up my cancel and reschedule rules. And you can have different parameters for what you allow in rescheduling and what you allow in canceling. Our third option in cancel and reschedule rules is by appointment type. So this is our most specific and nuanced setting where I can set cancel and reschedule rules for each individual appointment type that I allow. Again, you would just select the specific appointment type and then click add. Let's say I had cancel and reschedule rules set up for a virtual wellness, which is an adjustment. You see here, I also have cancel reschedule rules set up for the category of adjustment. This setting will trump this, which will trump this. As you go more specific in your settings, it will always trump the more general or broad categories above it. So again, this is our most broad, our most wide option as it's a blanket default. Then we go a little bit more specific by appointment category. And then we go even more specific by appointment types. So this will always trump anything before it. The cancel and reschedule rules just allow you to have more restrictions over your calendar and what a patient can and cannot do with their appointments in the app. Again, I don't have to allow a patient to cancel or reschedule. Some offices just want to allow rescheduling so that they maintain an appointment on the calendar, but they don't want them to cancel. They want the patient to call the office to cancel. Some offices don't want a patient to have either option, so they don't set up any cancel or reschedule rules. If you do not have any cancel or reschedule rules, those buttons will not show in the app. The patient won't be prompted to take those actions, so they'll have to call or text your office. Same thing applies if the patient falls within the window that is restricted. Say I'm trying to reschedule my appointment 20 minutes before the scheduled time. That button will not be visible in the app for the patient to select because they are within the restricted window. So if the patient hits the restricted windows or you do not allow the settings in general, those prompts will not be available in the app for the patient to select, and they will have to contact your office. Right next to it is hide provider. What this means is when an appointment is scheduled in the app and it's showing the patient the list of their appointments, it will hide the provider's name if this is checked off. So if you have multiple providers in your office or your calendars may be called red light therapy instead of someone's name, you can just simply click hide provider and that will not show the provider's name in their appointment list. Under app features, you can disable or allow check-ins in the app. If this is enabled, there will be a button in the app that says check-in. This will allow the patient to arrive or check in their own appointment. If you do not want to allow patients to be able to check themselves in, just simply disable this and that button will not appear in the app. Under document types, you can enable or disable the document type that you want patients to be able to see in the app. Now, this is across your entire office. What that is pointing to is documents in the patient's profile. So you see how they have the type X-ray, EMG, document. That is what this setting is dictating, is any document that has the type of document or X-ray or posture analysis is visible in the app. So keep in mind, you cannot on a per patient basis say I want this visible in the app, this one, and this one only. It's the type of document across your entire office. Now I'm going to go into how to send a patient the invite to the app. To invite a patient to the app, you do have to manually send them an invite, and that has to be done on a per patient basis. This is for HIPAA regulations. There's now a way for us to mass send an invite to your patients to join the app. You're going to open up their patient profile. There has to be a valid email address in their profile. One thing to note on the email address is that the app is always going to be connected to the email address that's in their patient profile in CareHD. So if ever I change the email address in CareHD, they need to change the email address they type in when they log into the app. Say the patient says, oh, I would like to switch the email address that's connected to the app. You don't have to resend the app invite or anything. You just need to update their email address in their profile. They'll always be connected. Whatever in their patient profile is what they'll log in with the app with. This is the button that you will use to send the patient app invite or check on the status. I'm going to click Patient App Setup, and here you can see I need to send the invite. I have not sent an invite yet to this patient. Once you send the invite, the button verbiage will change and you'll be able to see that you've already sent one. So it's telling me I'm going to send an email to this address for the app. Send invite. Once I get this email sent successfully, I can just close that out. Here you can see the app invite email. I am showing you this on my computer, but I do want to point out a major thing about this email. In order for the patient to be able to set up their mobile app account, they need to access this email on their phone. They have to access the email on their phone because their phone is what's connecting to the app account, which is connecting to your office. So if a patient is trying to access this email on their computer and set up their account, it will not work. You have to access the email on your phone. At this point, I would encourage everyone in your office to make sure they have set themselves up as a patient in your office and send themselves the app invite, and then set themselves up with an app account and play around with the app. You want to be able to experience the app yourself. That way you can speak more confidently to your patients. It's always good for you to be able to experience yourself. So go ahead and send yourself an app invite email, open that email on your phone, and connect to the app. Setting up the app account is simple. It's just 2 clicks. The first click will download the app on their phone. The second click will allow them to set up their password. Their username is an email address, and that's always the email address that's in their patient profile, which we just talked about. And then the password, they can set up whatever password they want, and the screen will display the password requirements. Since I have already sent the patient an app invite, you can see the verbiage on the button has changed and it's told me it's been sent. I can also click into it and see that I have sent an invitation, and I can resend an invite if I need to. The app invite emails do expire after a week, so if a patient is slow to set it up, you may have to resend them an invite. This is also a troubleshooting step I have, where if you have a patient that's telling you they are having trouble logging into the app, they can't log in, I would always suggest going into their patient profile and checking out the status of this button. This is telling me they haven't even set up their account yet, so of course there's no way they can log in. I would first troubleshoot by trying to resend them the invite and telling them to open the email on their phone and try to set up the account. They can't log in if they've never set up the account in the first place. So if a patient comes to you with a login issue about the app, I'd always encourage you to check out this message on their app invite button. If a patient has successfully created their account in the app, the button will still say sent, but if I click into it, the message that appears is different. It tells me that the patient has downloaded and successfully logged into the app. When a patient schedules an appointment in the app, the appointment will appear on your calendar in a gradient color. So you can see this appointment is a vitality adjustment, this appointment is a normal adjustment, and normally when I schedule a vitality adjustment, it's this solid orange color. But when they've scheduled a vitality adjustment in the app, it is a gradient display of the same color. Same with my adjustment appointment. It's normally a solid blue color, but because this was scheduled in the app, it is a gradient color. So if you ever see a gradient color, that means it was an action performed in the app by the patient. In regard to documents, there is a place in the app where the patient can take a picture of the front and back of their insurance card, and that will upload into their patient profile in Chiro HD. Now, obviously, I'm not providing an actual picture of my insurance card, but this is what it would look like. Keep in mind, though, there are no other functions past that, past saving it in the documents in their patient profile. It does not upload any information into their policy. It doesn't go anywhere else besides just going into their Documents tab. I'm going to give you a quick demo of the app in terms of what it would look like for your patients, but as well as all the settings that we just went over. How do they impact the app? And what do they look like in practical terms in the app? There will be a separate video that is a demo of the app that is patient facing, and that video will walk them through how to set up their app and what it looks like. So first we're on our login screen, and here you can see they'll pull the email address that's attached in the patient's profile like we just discussed. They would enter the password that they set up, and I can also enable Face ID. If your patient has forgotten their password, they can just go to the login screen and click Forgot Your Password. A patient can set up a patient profile where they can take a picture or choose from their library. They can schedule an appointment or check in. Now, the check-in button will not appear if you disable Allow Check-in in the settings. So if you do not want to allow patients to be able to check themselves in via the app, you would disable that in the settings and that button would not appear. They can also give your office a call. They can open up the maps and get GPS directions, or they can view their files. Here is where those documents will live that you allow them to see or not. We just discussed in the settings about what document types they're allowed to see in the app. This is where it would display for them. And they can see their document or their x-ray, and they have the option to download. You can also upload videos. It will require them to download the video in order to watch it. On the Insurance Cards tab, here they can upload a picture of their insurance card, upload a picture of the front and back, and that will upload into their Documents tab in Chiro HD. As I mentioned earlier, it does not import anywhere else except just in their Documents tab. Here I can see a list of my appointments that are scheduled. Now this is my test patient, so they have a lot of appointments. But I can schedule a new appointment by going to New Appointment, select the appointment type. I can select the date and time. Maybe I want to go to Monday, 10:30. Here it's asking me to review the appointment. I can either start over or confirm. And now I can either book another or say I'm all done. Depending on your cancel and reschedule rules, these buttons may or may not appear. So again, I'm just going to click on the appointment card. And depending on the parameters that you allow, I can either cancel or reschedule. This appointment, I cannot cancel or reschedule because it's outside of my parameters. It's too close to the appointment time. This appointment's a little further out than my rules, and so I can cancel it. So that's just a quick demonstration of what it will look like for the patient to use your app. As I explained earlier, I would encourage everyone in your office to set themselves up as a patient and download the app. Again, we have a separate patient-facing video demoing the app. So if you have a patient that wants to see what it's like, we're more than happy to send you that video.